Everyone has told me not to eat. Those who were at the function the other night told me don't eat anything before I stand up and speak tonight. As you'll notice here, I also have a little note, which is very unusual. I don't usually bring a note with me, but I've got a really exciting and important announcement to make tonight. I'm not going to make it yet. So can I just add my respects to the people on whose land we're meeting tonight, and in fact any of our Indigenous people who are in the room tonight, particularly our players and people from any cultural background. I've said it before at functions when I've spoken, and I'll say it every time I speak. We don't care where you come from. You're very welcome at the Melbourne Football Club if you're a Melbourne Football Club supporter. I don't think in my time as president, for however long that time may be, I will ever do anything that I enjoy as much as speaking either at the launch or the end of a season for our men's and women's program, but in particular for our women's program. Those of you who know me, and in particular our coaches and our players with our AFLW program, know how much I absolutely love every minute I get to spend with our fabulous young women and our coaching staff, because this program is a program that highlights every single thing we want every Melbourne Football Club person to be. Our women who play AFLW and pull on the jumper for us are 100% professional. They are dedicated to their sport and to this club. They work outside of their AFLW time, and they manage still to make a commitment to come to training and to pull the jumper on every weekend during the AFL season. Excellence is something I never, ever will have to speak to this bunch of young women about. It is naturally something that they come with and that they learn when they become part of the Melbourne Football Club team. They are professional, they're respectful, they're committed, they're dedicated, and they show continuously every single characteristic that we want every single Melbourne Football Club person. And I don't just mean players. I'm talking about staff, I'm talking about me, I'm talking about my fellow directors, I'm talking about supporters, I'm talking about sponsors. They display those characteristics both on and off the field, and for that alone, we should be incredibly proud of them, not to mention the fact that they show everything that Melbourne Football Club wants to be when they turn up on the field. I think that alone deserves a huge round of applause. I said at the start of the season, for those who were there, and I know a lot of you were there, this is a fantastic gathering tonight. It's small, but the people in this room are the people who really do care and who really put in an enormous amount to support our AFLW women. And I know our AFLW women would be the first ones to say that it's all about the other people that are in the room tonight. But I spoke at the start of the year and I said there is something special that happens, and whether it's been our women's performance this year or our men's, I keep getting asked since I've been president, what is it? What's happening at the club? What's going on here? And I'm actually a sports scientist by background, so I'm a biomechanist and a sports psychologist, and you learn in sports science, well, that you go through phases of development as athletes. You start out like a gangly pony, who can't really do anything, and we call that unconscious incompetence. You absolutely just, you know you're not good and you just can't do anything about it. And you gradually move through phases where you become consciously incompetent, where you know you can't do it but you know what you should do. And then you become consciously competent. I have to think about what I'm going to do, but I can execute the skill. And eventually when you get to the age of Days or Paxi, and you've been playing for so long, Daisy, so long, then you get to unconscious competence, and then you don't have to think about the skills anymore. Then you can start thinking about what's happening around you. And as a club, at Melbourne Football Club, we're reaching that point where we're becoming unconsciously competent, and that's the point at which you can start to think about your teammates. You can think Think about what else is happening on the field. You don't have to think about your own skill set. You start to help the younger players who might be standing beside you in the back line. And I know I'm always chatting to the players and getting feedback, and halfway through the year, Goldie, our Irish backliner, had to go out with a hamstring injury, and Meg came in. And I know the players said to me, Megan's made such a difference. And Meg, of course, said, I haven't played that well. I said, great game. She said, I haven't played that well. And the players around said, but she's telling us what to do. She's telling us where to go. She's looking after the younger players in the back line. And that's what we've got now. We've got a core of those players who know what to do. They don't have to think about it anymore, and they're teaching the younger players how to do what they need to do. And that's when you start to get a champion team, not a team of champions. And that's what we showed this year. I know Todd, I'm not sure where he is, he's interesting, I've seen him somewhere. But we were really concerned, he spoke about at the start of the year, that we made a lot of changes at the start of the year to our list, and it could have gone very badly. But we had that core group there, and that group believed, that group of team players, and they didn't let those big changes that we made at the start of the year impact the team. We made it almost to the top. We almost got to the top of the mountain, and we fell just short in Adelaide. And it was heartbreaking. I was over there with the team, and I had the great honour of being able to speak to the players after the game in the change rooms. And I said, absolutely be gutted, be disappointed, be upset, because you have worked so hard the whole season, both on and off the field. During the pre-season, during the off-season, you worked so hard to get here. AFLW premierships are not easy to win. If they were easy to win, we'd be handing them out, we wouldn't bother celebrating successes when we have them. You got that close, and you fell just short. So be absolutely gutted, but do not for 1 minute think that any person in this room or any person at this club is disappointed in you, or that we're not proud of you, because we absolutely are. And I said there's two things all great people and all great athletes have as characteristics. One of them is courage. You have to have courage to put yourself out there, to put yourself in the limelight, to push yourself beyond the boundary, to set yourself up to get spoken about by everybody else. But you go out there and do it anyway. Whether you might fail, whether you might be best on ground, doesn't matter. I'm going to put myself out there. But the bigger thing you need is resilience, to bounce back every time you get knocked down. And that's not just on the sporting field, that's wherever you go. I've been knocked down, you've all been knocked down. You know, we've applied for jobs, we haven't got them. We kick goals, we miss them. You know, that is going to happen, but really quality people, quality teams bounce back. And that's what I know this team will do next year. We're going to bounce back. We might not win. We still might not win the premiership. Adelaide are a good team. You know, there's plenty of good teams out in the competition. But if we keep bouncing back, we keep getting up, and we keep playing for each other, then we will get there. And I unfortunately couldn't tell the girls. I kept asking Purdy, can I please tell the girls in Adelaide that I will be the next president of the club? And I wasn't allowed to because we hadn't formally announced it yet. But I did say to the girls at that time, I will stay here and support you until we win that flag, because you deserve it. Not the club, not all the other people sitting in the ring, but you deserve it for each other because of what you put in to play AFL for Melbourne. So I will stay here, I'll tell you now, I will stay here, but I don't want to be doing this forever, so you better hurry up with one of those flags, because I'm telling you now, I don't want to be doing this for 10 years really. So we're on a timeline now, but it's coming, you can feel it, everyone can feel this energy, and we'll come back and we'll bounce back with your support next year, because our female players don't just need my support, they need everyone's support. And I know, I was talking to Ren Barlow last week at the function, and I know we have a lot of great supporters in here, like Chris and Ren, but Ren, like many other people, said, what can I do? You know, how can I help? And I know there's millions of people out there who actually want to help this club. Well, I've just spoken about the fact that we are one team and we're one club, and everybody has a role to play, and everyone's role is equally important, and no one's role, including mine, is any more important than anyone else's. We do need to actually acknowledge a few exceptional performances this year, and the first is Tyler Hanks. I don't know where Tyler's gone. I think she's obviously, I don't need to tell you what Tyler did, because you all know AFLW awards when Tyler won, and of course Tyler was almost in disbelief herself that she could win it, and very much feeling like she's not deserving, but Tyler very much did deserve that award. There were 18 Rising Star nominations throughout the AFLW season, and it was a very well-deserved award. And of course, we must also note Eliza McNamara, who also picked up a Rising Star nomination, so to have two players in the Rising Star nominee category is exceptional. Liza, you might not have won that Rising Star award, but you most definitely win the award for hardest hit on the ground, because so I was looking for all the plane as we were coming back from Adelaide, because she absolutely got smacked during that match in Adelaide, and all I heard was that she wanted to get up and come back onto the field, but fortunately concussion protocols ruled. But Eliza, well done. You had that, and you can see the future looks really bright when we've got quality players like that coming through the system. Our other exceptional performance, and really I have to say that we should all stop expecting this, because we sort of underestimate the performances because we expect them so often. But Karen Paxton, who is as always, Paxi is hiding over the corner as always, but you will all be aware that Paxi made her 5th All-Australian team this year, and you'll also be aware there's only been 5 AFLW seasons, so putting 2 and 2 together, she has made every All-Australian team that we've had, and the only other player who has done that is Emma Carney from North Melbourne, so well done to Emma, but to you, Paxi, it's an enormous feat to continue to play for that long and to play at such an exceptional level. We all expect it, and it's unfortunate because we just go, there's Paxi only got another 40 touches today, and she hasn't played that good a game. But Paxi, we look forward to you making 6 next year as well. So thank you, Paxi, for your contribution to the We have a couple of sad farewells that we do need to make this year. Neve McAvoy, one of our Irish players, one of our 3 Irish contingents, she's already unfortunately gone, headed back home. She's, as you know, and I've just spoken to Lauren and Sinead, still here tonight, it is really tough in Ireland at the moment. We just forget. We've got 85,000 people at the MCG, and I spoke at a lunch yesterday with a minister, and we're 1.5 metres apart, and I said, just interrupt MCG with 60,000 people, so, there's no point social distancing, but while we try to do the right thing, it really has left our minds that COVID is even an issue here in Australia, but it is very much still an issue in Ireland. I know the Irish contingent have given up a lot to come over and play when their families are struggling overseas. We've gone back. Her and her partner have just opened a cafe over there, so she was quite keen to get back home and do that. And unfortunately, at this, I never say never, but at this point in time, she said she's not coming back next year. She'll move on to other things. And of course, all 3 of our contingent play for the fabulous Dublin Gaelic football team side. And while we sort of don't know their names here, apparently their faces are on buses and everything as they drive around Dublin. So I'm really looking forward to getting over there and perhaps seeing them play in Ireland. In person someday soon. Shay Sloan, I spoke to her as we came in. Shay, unfortunately, has been cursed with the sloping tibia, as we say in the biomechanics world, which has led to a few ACL injuries. So Shay is going to call it a day for her AFL career, probably way too early for Shay. But Shay and I have both been volleyballers. We share a coach. And Coach Jenny Becker, Shay, a personal note for you, as soon as she heard that Shay was retiring, sent me a message and said, I think Shay would be a fantastic coach. So I hope she's thinking of coaching. And I just checked in with her outside and she said, yeah, it's of interest to us. I'll text back our mutual coach, Shay, and let her know that Shay will be going on. But thank you both, Neve in her absence, and you, Shay, for your contribution to this club. And Shay, certainly expecting on behalf of Coach Becker to see you making a contribution going forward as well. So I did say that I had one really, really exciting announcement. I mean, I found out this morning and I was told, like a kid in the candy shop, I was able to announce this, and I was so excited that I've barely been able to keep it out of the papers today, but I've managed to do so. I said to you when I was in Adelaide, I couldn't tell the girls that I was going to be named as the incoming president the next day, but somehow it slipped out, as it does. And I got a phone call on the way home from the airport from a certain person who said, I'm so happy, and if you're going to stay, I'm going to stay. And I said, okay, it's a deal. So I'm really overjoyed to say that our head coach, Nick Stanier, has signed up to the club for... Not that I would forget, but of course the cheering and the loud applause you hear in the room is from the players themselves. One of the first things I was told when players found out I was going to be the incoming president is to make sure Nick stays. He is highly sought after as a coach from other clubs. We know that he is one of, I'm not going to say one of, he is the most respected and sought after coach in the AFLW. He could easily go and coach AFL. But I'm very pleased, Nick, that you are true to your word when you said to me on the phone, I'll stay if you stay. So, mate, I'll stay here if you would stay here, and we'll get this flag home to the Melbourne Football Club. Thank you.